don't enter one chance, I swear, oh, now go with the go so. Herdsmen, they kill us every day, for them busy, they campaign again. After they failed all the promises they made, oh, then they praise themselves. Why the masses were supposed to give them the praises we they here they run to? Who be that? I blame it on the religious leaders. I blame it on the traditional rulers. People were supposed to fight for the people, they don't compromise. Shame on the rebellious brothers. People will cry with us during answers. Today them don't join those oppressors, they eat love. Something on the smell of. Very soon now we go perceive them. We have up where this government they cause my time bomb. It go soon explode. Revolution they come. It is very close at the film. When the power of the people we triumph, the power of the people in power. They no even care, they no even send. Say the people they die of hunger. Hungry dog is an angry dog. One day you go bite the owner. Idle man is the devil workshop. Many youths for Nigeria no good job. And the country the youths got no future. The country is gone, that's on period. I blame it on the judiciary leaders. I blame it on the electoral officials. People were supposed to save the nation, but they collected bribe. Shame on the armed forces. People were supposed to protect the masses. But now them they shoot us anytime they hear our voice.
Kiwe wesu garani orianya nine oria nine nke purita kwasa mmadụ dị ndụ n'ihi na ọ bụ naanị gị bụ onye na-agwọ ọrịa anyị wee na-akpọkụ gị onwe gị bụ sunile nke ndị agha ka igwe mere anyị ebere ka akwa nke anyị na-ebe ka ude nke anyị na-asụ wee bịa n'iru gị ka iwe mee ka Biafra wee guzosi ike ka anyị wee n'ikpete mazụ nye ha sọgotụtara nsọpụrụ na ịja mma site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ebi ise mma dịrị gị Chineke mma dịrị gị Chineke.
If I go about deliberately looking for who to disturb, who is going about deliberately looking for who to disturb? You say never go about. Then you don't need to go about. They will come. They will come for you. You don't need to go about. What did our leader say about these people? I want you to listen to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Say, please don't go about looking for trouble. Chai! The Shoji. Mad people everywhere. I want you to listen to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
That the structures doesn't exist. The institutions that will allow the emergence of a...
Rather than going on now. Now, let me ask you. I know. Why don't your group put?
For those who will always say, "Oh, why don't you win election? Why don't you bring somebody who is going to win election for you? Why don't you go to national conference? Why don't you do this?" Listen to what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu answered.
Push for that in a place like the national conference that is going on now to get that kind of autonomy first, rather than now pushing for independence without whether Nigeria wants it or not.
The fact of the matter is that the structures doesn't exist. The institutions that will allow the emergence of a democratic Biafra within a peaceful setting does not currently exist in that very place you call Nigeria. Mind you, that is the name of a river. Up north, you call them Niger, which is French. If you come down a little bit, it is called Niger, which is English. And the people that live around it are called Nigerians. The only place, or part of the only place in Black Africa where you name a people after a river. I have never seen any civilized country in the world where people are named after a river. It's never happened before. The people own the river, not the other way around. By tacitly accepting the word and the tag Nigeria, what it means is that you never had any history until Frederick Lugard came, which is a fallacy, it's an abomination, and nobody should be saying that. Coming back to what you said, there is no way we can run for office as a political party. We tried it with ABGA and it did not work. These issues were thrashed out very well. Is that the people that control the levers of power within Nigeria are not politically sophisticated enough to appreciate the finer points of political discourse. In other words, that disputes resolution can best be conducted within a political setting where people are civilized. And I'm afraid to say that what I see in the zoo they call Nigeria, people are not civilized.
Now, we're out of time, but let me ask you, last week, I believe, the Biafran Zionist movement claimed a responsibility for the attack at the attacks in the Enugu State Government House. Are you familiar with that group, and what was the mission of that attack?
I am familiar with a lot of groups. That name rings a bell. Anybody that can do anything to disrupt the present orthodoxy of governance by a group of very corrupt cabals is welcome. In that regard, I welcome what they did at Enugu, and I hope that people can come out and join us when the time comes to overthrow the very corrupt, inept old men and women in charge of that very place, because Biafra must exist. It's our right to make sure it happens.
All right.
While Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not condemning any group, while Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not condemning any group whatsoever, just like I am supporting any group at all, so long as you are fighting against Nigeria. While Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not supporting, is not condemning any group, the people that claim follow him today, they say Simon Ekpa is a terrorist. Simon Ekpa is this. Simon Ekpa is that. After 10 good months of fighting Simon Ekpa, they didn't achieve anything. After 10 months of fighting Simon Ekpa, they didn't achieve anything. Yet, they are now changing tone. Simon Ekpa is a terrorist. Simon Ekpa is the leader of a non-government. Chai! This OG. And they are looking for freedom. You see, the more you blackmail me, the more you are blackmailing yourself. You think you are blackmailing me. You are blackmailing yourself. You don't know that? When the BBC came and do their nonsense disinformation, is it only Simon Ekpa that they showed his picture? Is it only Simon Ekpa? You all were there. All of you were there. You could not even defend yourself. The same Simon Ekpa you are calling all manner of names defended you there. And let me tell you, even when they mentioned Simon Ekpa, the issue they mentioned Simon Ekpa there was not even, I can defend anything I say. All of you could not defend yourself, yet, you blackmail me. You think that when you blackmail me, When they want to call them, they call only Ekpa. All of you, your picture were there. Did you see my picture in the write-up? No. My picture was my video was hidden in the video. But all of you, your picture was there. Every day you look for Simon Ekpa, you post. Simon Ekpa is one poda. Simon Ekpa is a perima. Simon Ekpa is this. When the thing begin to happen, you think it doesn't, they will call you. And when the issue started, you could not defend yourself. You couldn't defend yourself. BBC did not say it was Simon Ekpa. BBC put your picture, all of you, as you were blackmailing Simon Ekpa, they did not say it was, they put all of your picture. So this one, they say, we are going to kill this one, we are going to kill that one. All of your picture was there, your video was there. Yet, you will wake up every day to blackmail Simon Ekpa. And every day, if you don't, of course, some of you can never learn. Hatred and jealousy of Simon Ekpa have beclouded the brain that you don't even have at all. I do not know when they are going to learn. They think when they promote Simon Ekpa by calling Simon Ekpa criminal, the BBC will come and say Simon Ekpa. All of you, the more you are calling me a terrorist, the way you are calling me a terrorist is the same thing you are calling yourself. You think when you be a terrorist is oh Jesus Christ. This BBC disinformation should have teach all of you a lesson. You think when you come to social media because you hate me, because you are jealous of me, because you don't like me, you think when you call me criminal, you are going to pay for everything you say. You are going to pay. You carry my name and blackmail. Simon Ekpa is the leader of a non-government. Simon Ekpa is this one. Simon Ekpa is that one. You see the way BBC is dealing with you people? If anything is going to happen anywhere, you are going to also be dragged into it. And you can't even defend yourself. Iti boribos. Iti pataka. Everywhere. Get yourself educated, you say no. Go to school, you say no. Simon Ekpa every day. Simon Ekpa every morning.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us on this very evening section. We have come once again, as we always do, on this evening section to discuss about some very important issues. As always, the case of Biafra is a very important issue before us. We don't pretend about it. We are not doing it for someone. We are fighting for our own freedom. As I am fighting for my freedom, you should equally be fighting for your freedom. It is to your tent, O Israel. So if you refuse to fight, nobody's going to do it for you. If I refuse to do it, nobody's going to do it for me. So that is why every one of us has to learn to take responsibility. Wherever you find yourself, you must take responsibility. I am taking my own responsibility, doing what I have to do, and you need to do yours. Every one of us have an assignment. Ask yourself, are you doing what you are supposed to do? If you are not, you better wake up and begin to do what you are supposed to do. So, my fellow Biafran that are watching, this is a weekend, and I wish you all a very happy weekend. I'm not going to take much of your time. We are going to make it as easy and as simple as possible so that we can be able to go back to whatever we want to do for the weekend. So, first of all, I appreciate everyone that has connected, everyone that have decided to pay attention to this evening broadcast. I appreciate you wherever you are watching from, either in Biafra land, in any part of Africa, from the zoo, from Asia, Europe, America, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, from Russia, from China, Wherever you are watching from, I welcome you to this platform and I appreciate you for giving us your time during this weekend. The weekend period is a time that people have to do what they have to do, take care of their domestic affairs and other things. But at the same time, you decided to spare that weekend with us. I appreciate you and I respect that the fact that you gave us that time. And Chukwu Kabiama will not allow all our efforts to be in vain. All the sacrifices we are making, sacrificing our time, sacrificing our money, sacrificing our effort, it will never be in vain. So I appreciate everyone that has connected wherever you are connecting from. And today, this very weekend, we are going to speak on the same issue that we have been hammering all through the week. We are hammering on this issue because it is very important. The work of our Prime Minister Mazi Ekpa and the work of our Supreme Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the reason they did what we did. So the title of the program this evening says, Why Biafra Must Break Free. Why Biafra must break free. The reason Biafra must break free from the Zoological Republic. The truth Prime Minister Simon Ekpa and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu saw. The truth that Prime Minister Mazi Simon Ekpa and our Supreme Mazi Nnamdi Kanu saw. There is something that they saw that made them to put everything on the line, put their career on the line, put their life on the line, put their family on the line, put everything on the line. There is something that they saw. And I ask you, how many of you today can be able to put your life on the line for someone else? How many of you can be able to put your career on the line for someone else? But look at it, in 21st century, 2025, Biafran leaders are still putting their own life on the line for you and I. Today, our Supreme Leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in the Zoological Republic Court. In their DSS, solitary confinement. He has been there now for 5 years and still counting. And our Prime Minister Mazi Ekpa was abducted today in detention in Finland. All these are sacrifices that they have made for you, they have made for me. And wherever you are as a Biafran, you must continue to recognize and appreciate this effort. Many who we are supposed to do this for you, we are not able to do it. It is not everybody that can be able to make this sacrifice. Even you and I that are here talking, so many of us cannot take this risk. So many of us cannot take the front seat the way they just did. But wherever you are as a Biafran, I urge you in the name of Chukwu Kabiama to continue to stand strong. Don't allow anybody to distract you. Do not allow anybody to deceive you. No matter what you hear, no matter what you see, continue to stand strong, because our freedom, nobody is going to take it away from us. Nobody will take away the freedom of the Biafran people from them. As long as you continue to be focused, as long as you continue to pay attention to events, as long as you do not pay attention to the blackmail propagandas that is coming from the east, west, north, and south, this propaganda will always be there. But as long as you don't pay attention to them, they cannot hold water. That is why I urge every one of you that is listening to us this evening to please open your ears. Pay attention to what we are about to say. You will learn one or two things this evening. You will learn one or two things this evening. We are in a terrible time, a very, very terrible time. A time that you must not look away. You must not look away. You must not look away with all the atrocities that is being committed today. You must not look away. Every one of us must continue to pay attention to what is happening today. Continue to pay attention. Don't allow any propaganda or blackmail to drive you away from the cause that we are in. I urge you, fellow Biafrans, wherever you are watching me from this evening, as a freedom fighter and lover of freedom around the world, today we must face the bitter truth. Nigeria is not a nation, will never be a nation, and can never be a nation. It is a prison. The Zoological Republic is a prison where people are forced to be. It is a prison. The earlier you continue to accept this and embrace this truth, the better for every one of us. From Mazi Ekpa to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, our leader, have declared it openly. They have said it openly that Nigeria is not a habitable place. The only road to peace, to justice, to freedom is a breakup. Nigeria will never know peace until we break up from Nigeria. Every single thing that is happening in Nigeria today is pointing to the breakup. It's pointing to the fact that Nigeria cannot survive. If you continue to deny the fact, it might take your head. It might take your head. We must continue to demand the exit from the Zoological Republic and nothing else. Nothing else. Listen carefully, because what I'm about to say is the very reason Nigeria shakes whenever the word Biafra is mentioned. Whenever the word called Biafra is mentioned, Nigeria, they are shaking. Those who put Nigeria in place are shaking. Those of them who think they cannot leave that Nigeria, they continue to pee in their body. But we will continue to speak this truth and reveal it to the whole world. The forceful amalgamation of Nigeria is something that no sensible person would accept. The marginalization of the Biafran people is unbearable. The Biafran genocide that we see every day, even as we speak, the genocide is still going on. It is unacceptable. Religious and cultural divide in that contraption called Nigeria is a deadly one. Terrorism and insecurity is the order of the day. Every blessed day, even as we speak, people are being kidnapped, lives are being lost, and nobody is doing anything. Economic injustice is everywhere. The people are dying of hunger. People cannot even afford food to eat. People cannot afford 3 square meals in a very rich country where everything is available, but yet some individual took them for themselves. Suppression of self-determination. Self-determination which they sign up for. Self-determination supported by international law, by African peoples and human rights law. Even Nigerian law itself supports self-determination, but yet they are suppressing it with everything in them. Corruption and failed states. That is what Nigeria is, full of corruption. A state that have failed. A very good example of a state that have failed. And there is no doubt and no lies in this. Survival and future of our children depends on Biafra. We must not continue in this Zoological Republic. We must not. We must get out of the Zoological Republic. If we remain in Nigeria, our children's future is doomed. If we exist, we give them freedom, dignity, and life. The choice is simple. Exit or perish. Yes. It's either we exit or we perish. For me, I am already out there. I'm already out of Nigeria. So I will not perish with it. And I urge everyone, when we talk about the deadly situation of Nigeria, it is not something that is overemphasized. The confirmation of the deadly situation of Nigeria is overwhelming, and no sensible person will see the atrocities that is happening in Nigeria and what Nigeria is made for, and yet you will be buying into one Nigeria. I want us to listen to this for you to see one of those failures and one of those reasons why we cannot even begin to imagine of being part of the Zoological Republic.
Mark Zuckerberg
Anybody that
came
is
to
trying to imagine
Nigeria
that
this year,
is just a
2025.
waste of
Once
time.
again, he saw their
So,
greatest problem.
we will continue to expose the atrocities while the people of the world will continue to see them, because we cannot be silent. We show the world why we want to exit the Zoological Republic. The reports are everywhere. They know it, even Finland knows, but yet they keep quiet. But we will not be silent. We will continue to fight on top of our voices and make sure that we are heard.
Mark Zuckerberg came to Nigeria this year, 2025, and once again, he saw their greatest problem, electricity power failure. And while he was with Colonel Affleck, a filmmaker, the power suddenly went off. Mark Zuckerberg was so shocked because he'd never been in a country where there is a lack of electricity. At first, he was afraid, thinking that Nigerian Yahoo boys wanted to kidnap him because he has always banned their Facebook accounts whenever they tried to use it for fraud. So here's the proof of the video.
We couldn't afford to use the mainstream television or radio in the UK, but everybody was on Facebook, at that time, and this really, helped. And this is not Nigeria. This is part of it.
Nigeria is a very...
You can imagine, that was Mark Zuckerberg, the idiot that Nigeria bribed to block us on Facebook. This is the same man that Nigeria bribed to attack the platform of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, to ban Mazi Simon Ekpa from broadcasting on Facebook. He went to Nigeria. In his presence, they took life. And when they took life, he said he thought it was the Yahoo boys that wanted to kidnap him to ask for ransom. So these idiots, they know that Nigeria is a failed state. They know that the evil that is happening in Nigeria, but still yet, Nigeria, they continue to enter into deal with Nigeria because it is all about the money. Anything they can do to get money, they don't care. Anything they can do to promote their evil agenda, they do not care. And when we see these things, we will not keep silent. We will continue to expose them. This is the Nigeria that some of them are promoting. That is why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, anybody that claims to be a Nigerian, you need to throw that person's stone, because they don't deserve to live. These are places, people who never tell the truth, and we will continue to expose them.
Now, reports say the US is eyeing another major expansion of entry restrictions against targeting mostly African countries. Reports circulating in the media cite an internal State Department cable.
This is not the video I'm looking for, but you see the ban on African countries by Donald Trump. That was the ban. And it is going to get hot. And I don't blame him. Whatever ban he is having, I don't blame Donald Trump for banning anybody he wants to ban. He has the right to ban anybody. People should go back and build their own nation. And that is why we, the Biafrans, are going to build our nation. And we will not stop. We will not stop. We cannot be part of this criminal entity called Nigeria. We are nothing worse. Where evil is the order of the day. And let us hear what the Lefaro to me had to say.
Our code in many countries must not be done as such. That is what our enemies will prefer. Each and every person who benefits from the ruination of Nigeria is an enemy of Nigerians. Usually, distractors, use religion, use ethnicity, use politics, partisanship, but we're part of the same tapestry, part of the same growth, and we mustn't tear it apart. Yes, I would love to tear apart the iniquitous Nigeria that has held all of us hostage, but I don't want to tear my country apart. I want to tear down the evil system that permits the evil that has overtaken my country. I don't want to tear the fabric apart. It's just...
You see the confusion. These people that claim that they have brain, meanwhile their brain is empty. You don't want Nigeria to break up. And you know Nigeria has a foundational problem. You are complaining. You know that leadership problem cannot be solved. It doesn't matter how you do it. But when we talk about the ultimate solution, which is to break that very faulty foundation, they will not agree. You see them talk as if they have brain. But when you look at it, it is not logical. You have been doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. The same result is what you are getting. You don't want to tear your so-called one Nigeria apart. And you know that when your one Nigeria is irredeemable, you have no solution. You have gone into politics to preach and preach. At the end of the day, it is the same result. Why do you continue to do the same thing and you claim to be wise? It is a shame.
System. What combines together is the fabric. It's not a coat of many colors, yes, but it becomes a coat only because the fabric was stitched together. Was it batik? It's not batik, it's not tie and dye. It's a patchwork, different colors. You have diversity, but it only becomes strength when you find common purpose, when you're all pulling in the same direction. The Nigerian in the northern part of Nigeria must want the rule of law. The Nigerian in the southern part of Nigeria must want the rule of law. Because what ails you as Mustafa ails Amechi. Same thing is disturbing Olakunle. Nodru is afflicted by the same. The future must hold a Nigeria that is accountable to law, both by persons and by institutions of states. We are more than them. We are by far more than them. Good morning in new Nigeria is what we need to be saying to ourselves.
This is the deceit. They continue to deceive themselves with these lies. There will not be any Nigeria. There will not be any old one. There will not be any new one. There has never been any Nigeria anyway. But they continue to come online to deceive those they can be able to deceive with their sweet tongue. There you are complaining. You know that there will be no solution. You know that you have no solution. But you continue to deceive people. These are the things we found in the Zoological Republic. And we must say no to them. We must say enough is enough. Because these people don't mean well for anybody. Not for
What
you.
is my view or the coalition's view on the better framing? In simple terms, Steve and Kachi, it is one that does not include ethnicity. It is also one that does not include religion. So just the same way, for instance, and I think I won't be wrong here, kidnap or the harvesting of organs is more common. That crime is more common in the Southwest, but nobody calls it Yoruba crime. Oil theft is more common in the Niger Delta, but nobody calls it Ijo or whatever crime. And then there are several other examples I would give that are more common with certain specific parts of the country. But nobody, associates them with ethnicity. And so the framing should be one that does not have ethnicity in it. It should be one that does not have a religion in it. I can't give you an answer at the moment. I did have some ideas and suggestions, but also those ideas and suggestions have been criticized because they included a profession like herders. But one that comes to my mind perhaps is militias. There is no ethnic group in Nigeria at the moment that does not have one or the other form of militia. Steve, I did a research in a part of the South. I wouldn't want to mention where, but I got to find out that communities were collecting levies. They were asked, any member of that community was asked to pay levies. Weapons were being bought by that community. And then, of course, the monies that were collected were used to influence security officials whenever there is an intercommunity conflict. It's a conflict over land in a certain part of the South. And so the two communities now started collecting money, and they have the militias that any time there is that conflict, the militias will bring out their weapons, and before you know it, there will be the type of atrocities that we've seen. So perhaps maybe a militia associated with the herder, but then some are not comfortable with the fact that the term herder is being used because, of course, that's a profession, and that profession is not specific or unique to a particular ethnic group. And that is why I think there is a need.
You see how they are fighting so hard. These are Fulanis fighting so hard to deassociate themselves from the terrorism that they brought to Nigeria. They want to paint themselves good. You see how they are trying to distance themselves with the crime they are committing. They never want to take responsibility. He's telling you that you should not include headers when you are reporting the terrorism of the headers. And we know that these people are headers. We have seen them on video. They have introduced themselves. They have said who they are. But yet, look at their politicians. These are terrorists. This person you are seeing is a potential terrorist. Look at him doing his own terrorism on TV, defending nonsense. Defending nonsense. And that is why Nigeria can never work. Nigeria will never survive. The earlier the world understands that, the better for everybody. Nigeria will never ever survive. It does not matter what you think. It doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter how you understand it. Nigeria will never ever survive.
To bring in experts from across the West African subcontinent, from across perhaps even places like Brazil, Australia, that have had a history of pastoralism, so that we hear from them how did they frame their own and what framing supported peace building. Because I think that is the objective, Steve. We must find a framing that is not isolative, that is not abusive, that does not encourage stigmatization, and that at the same time does not encourage the generalization that may lead, and I say this with all sense of responsibility, to genocide. If you blacklist an entire population of 30 million, we may see instances where innocent persons, and in fact we've seen it in the past.
Did you see how he's crying? They're blackmailing the entire Fulanis. We have a double impact on them. But these are the people that blackmail the Igbo Biafrans for many years. These are the people that blackmail the Igbo Biafrans. For many, many years, even before independence, they started their blackmail. You saw Ahmad Bello when he was interviewed by BBC. They were blackmailing Biafrans that we are possessive, we are oppressive, we are this and we are that, we are domineering. They continue to push that lies and propaganda, that we created war, we caused war to Nigeria and all that, Igbo coup. And every one of them supported this until of recent that we started reacting. Look at him now. He's now crying about blackmailing an entire ethnic group. But this is what Nigeria has done for many, many years. And they were all okay with it.
There are instances in Benue State. I remember a particular Fulani group that was traveling from Taraba through Benue. They were killed. In fact, they were incinerated inside their vehicle. Then in Zamfara State, there are several instances where women, Fulani women who come to market, will be targeted, killed, raped, and things that I don't even want to say on air done to them. Then you remember the case in Plateau State where a certain boss that was traveling, I think, from either Gombe or Bauchi State, that the other Fulani inside, was stopped, and every person in that vehicle was killed. So there have been instances of specific targeting because of ethnic identity, and it was based on this hatred that the use of that term has emerged. So that's number one. We're yet really, as yet, don't have a solution. It's better framing, but when you bring experts together to discuss it, perhaps a better framing can come up. The second part of your question,
better framing. He's looking for better framing to remove Fulani from the atrocities they are committing. That is just a simple thing he's looking for. Forget about all this grammar he's trying to speak. He wants to remove Fulani from the responsibility of the crimes they are committing. This is how they are. Fulanis are fighting for their own. But what is our own people doing? What is Ohanes and Igbo doing? Ohanes and Igbo are busy betraying their own children, handing their children to terrorists, telling the terrorists to come and attack their children. That is what Ohanes and Igbo are doing. But look at Fulani still defending their people, even though they know that they are the terrorists. He's refusing to accept that responsibility. Telling you how to rehabilitate them, telling them how to bring them together, which is what they are doing today. But when it comes to the Biafran people, our criminal politicians, they will be the one in the front line to sponsor attack against us. And we'll say enough is enough. These things will continue to happen until something is done.
What happened has happened, and it's there. Can't come out through social media, terrorist organization.
Did you hear that? This is the useless Sultan of Sokoto. He said that social media is a terrorist organization. This is the chief terrorist in Nigeria. Chief sponsor of terrorists in Nigeria. Look at him. He's accusing social media as a terrorist organization. He said social media itself is a terrorist organization. Therefore, social media should be banned in Nigeria. You can imagine what somebody is saying in 21st century. Because they know that in social media, that is where the people have their power to speak to the world. Look at him, telling that social media is a terrorist organization.
What they do, somebody is often wrong and formless stories, and you will see that that is true. So, social media is a terrorist organization that we must security agencies must deal with this terrorist organization called social media. So we're not happy with what's been happening either on the platform or other places.
You can imagine. You can imagine referring to social media as a terrorist organization. This is what they do. This is what the Fulani does very well. They will blackmail you. They will tag you anything they want. They will tag you with different kinds of names. Forgetting their own, they will tag you. They make people believe that you are the troublemaker. They make people believe that you are the problem. Meanwhile, they are the solution. This is the card the Fulani always play this card. And the Zoological Republic people are falling for it. The people in the zoo are always falling for it. The people in the zoo always fall for this nonsense. Fulanis are busy defending their own everywhere.
So we knew that if we went that forest and flushed them out, we'd degrade capacity.
No, the greatest challenge that you face, though, is the Fulani herdsmen today, which is being reported in just about every other media, that they are the ones perpetrating this crime.
Which
Are
crime?
they the ones?
Which crime?
Killing of people.
No. Look, let me explain the three problems, and then you will get it in context. The cattle rustling and banditry is an essentially Fulani phenomenon. Okay, it is Fulanis, and we knew where they.
I want you to pay attention. Anytime you bring the issue of these Fulanis, their elite will defend them, including this criminal, this terrorist. This was the one that went and bought them. He was among those that invited them to come and overthrow Jonathan, this man that is speaking. But yet, anytime you talk about Fulani terrorism, he will defend them. He will give them name. They are the one that orchestrated, sat down and crafted a name for them. And they call them bandit, terrorists. They branded them and land them. This is how they defend these people. Anytime, any day, they continue to defend these evil people. They continue to defend terrorists. But in our own case, we are asking for our legitimate rights, self-determination, which is enshrined in international law, African Peoples and Human Rights law, and Nigerian law. We are making requests for a lawful demand. What do? They come after us. They unleash all their powers and might against us simply because we are asking for freedom. Just listen and see how he's going to defend his Fulani people.
So we knew that if we went that forest and flushed them out, we'd degrade their capacity.
No, the greatest challenge that you face, though, is the Fulani herdsmen today, which is being reported in just about every other media, that they are the ones perpetrating this crime.
Which
Are
crime?
they the ones?
Which crime?
Killing of people.
No. Look, let me explain the three problems.
Try to explain and take them away from the problem.
The cattle rustling and banditry is an essentially Fulani phenomenon. Okay, it is Fulanis, and we knew where they were, and we collaborated with the state governments surrounding that notorious forest range, Kamuku Kuyambana Forest Reserve, and said, look, this is a problem that we have to solve jointly. We collaborated with the cooperation of other state governments. We put together money and a military operation to flush them out. Okay? And today we have over 300 young Fulanis between 18 and 30 in custody
for kidnapping, for cattle rustling, and robbery. Okay? So that we understood. It was easy because that's one place.
So we follow that word up. When you understood the problem and flushed them out, did you subsequently find out that perhaps in that process, while they were flushed out, did they get involved in the other crisis which you're about to explain?
Maybe they did. Okay, I will come to that because we have this problem has multiple dimensions, and I'll try to cover everything as much as I can. But I'm trying to classify the problems and tell you what we did. Okay, so to a large extent, we degraded cattle rustling. They moved on to kidnapping. Okay, we have addressed that to a large extent. It's more or less sorted in Kaduna. Unfortunately, because of weak law enforcement, there are copycat crimes all over the states now. I'm learning to my dismay that even in Lagos now you have cases of kidnapping, but this is what we did. Now, the second problem of the urban gangs we addressed because the police and the SSS knew who these gangs were. It was just the capacity to bring them to justice that was lacking, and that was done. So
you can imagine the federal government lacked the capacity to bring bandits to justice. They lack the capacity to bring terrorists to justice. But when it comes to Biafran people, they don't wait a second. They will go all the way to a foreign country to attack our leaders and to kidnap them. But in Nigeria, to bring terrorists to justice, bandits to justice, they don't have the capacity. And they are shamelessly saying it. Look at him. This is how they build defense for their people, build the background, try to exonerate their people from the original crime. They were the one that started the terrorism, the kidnapping, the atrocities, burning of churches and whatever. These people sponsored it. But when they come on the national TV, they paint it.
We solved that. It still breaks up once in a while because drug addiction is a big problem, but that was sorted. The Southern Kaduna was more difficult because we didn't understand it. And this is why we needed a high-profile committee like the Agwai committee to look at it. And they did. We established the committee in July. By the end of August, they submitted a report. They went around Southern Kaduna. They talked to community. They talked to everybody. And they came back with certain findings and recommendations. And the findings were very enlightening, even to me, who is Fulani. Okay, I'm 87.5% Fulani, my parents. They found that there were three groups of Fulanis. The settled Fulanis, like me, that don't herd cattle, they're settled in one place, don't move around up and down. The semi-settled that live in Nigeria, they are Nigerians, but move their cattle up and down in search of pasture. And then there's the transhumance pastoralists that come from other African countries. Fulanis are in about 14 countries. All over West Africa, there is virtually no country in West Africa that is no Fulani, minority or even majority. And under an ECOWAS protocol signed in 2003, these Fulanis take their cattle when the dry season in their country starts and herd them down to Nigeria, up to central Nigeria, okay, in search of pasture. And around March, when the rains start, they start moving back the same routes. And apparently, I didn't know this until I got briefing as governor, there are international stock routes mapped out from pre-colonial times that these transhumance herdsmen follow. Unfortunately, because of population explosion, we're 50 million at independence. Today we're nearly 200 million. Because of population explosion, urban development and farmlands have taken over some of these international routes. Okay, this is the basis for the clashes now. A herdsman in Guinea, for instance, thinks that he can follow this route, and as he's following the route, he meets a farm, and his cattle destroys part of the farm, and the farmer.
In any situation, have you gotten reports, intelligence reports, that perhaps the farmers also took the cows of the herdsmen?
No, we have no such reports. But what often happens that when damage to a farm occurs, in those days, the Fulani would leave behind a small calf as compensation. So, what I'm trying to say that in the past, there used to be a framework to settle these things, okay? But that framework has more or less collapsed. So, when we understood it, so our committee identified this and said, and they also found that some of what we're seeing in southern Kaduna were reprisal killings for what happened in 2011. Because in 2011, as the herdsmen were moving their cattle back to their countries or to their locations in various parts of northern Nigeria, the post-election violence took place in April. And many of them were trapped. They just happened to be there. And they were killed. Cattle, their livestock lost, and so on. And so some of them were coming back to do the reprisal killings. Most of the Fulanis within Nigeria filed claims, okay? Because there was the Lemu Commission of Inquiry that looked at this problem and made recommendation that federal government should pay compensation to those that lost cattle.
Where did this happen? Where were they trapped?
They were trapped mostly around Zonkwa in Zabwa Katab local government, Kaura, and Jemaah.
Okay. These are all in southern Kaduna.
These are in southern Kaduna. And this.
You see one funny thing, in every situation, they will always make a case for their people to be compensated. No matter what, anytime you see them speak, this Fulani speak, they are always seeking for compensation for their people. It's either they are telling to recruit them or they are telling to forgive them, or they will never see them go after their people all out the way our own people are destroying the life of the youths in our land. If this man were to be a Biafran governor, he will ask them to come and bomb everybody. Today, it is the same governor's politician that told the federal government not to talk to us, the Biafran people. They are the ones standing on the way. But I bet you, every single one of them will pay a heavy price.
Happen to be also the areas where we have these problems. Okay, there are 8 local governments in southern Kaduna. Only 3 or 4 have this problem. Okay, and this is where mostly the killings in 2011 took place. Now, after the Lemu Commission made recommendations, and the Judicial Commission of Inquiry set up by Kaduna also made similar findings, compensation was offered to those that were killed, displaced, and so on. And some of the federal government provided the money, and compensation was paid. But of course, those that are in Guinea, in Mali, in Niger, cannot claim any compensation. They didn't even appear before the commission. These are the people coming back.
Okay, we'll
carry out reprisal killings.
We'll come back and take a look at it from that perspective and find out what you also did to solve this problem. Thank you, join us again.
So, my fellow Biafrans, what I'm just trying to establish is to tell you that these people will always make a case for their own people. They will always make a case for their own people. There is nothing else they will do. But for our own, what they are busy doing, our own politicians, is attacking us. Their own problem is how to destroy IPOB. In fact, they will be in the front line to seek for our head, even though they know that Nigeria is not for them. But they will be in the front line to castigate us, to attack us, and to speak evil against us. But anytime you see the Fulanis, they are making case for their own people. What a shame. What a shame.
I don't think the British really wanted Nigeria to be a very successful country. We were dreaming very big, but the structures with which we were dreaming were already in trouble. Things started falling apart when Nigerian government began that process of eliminating other Nigerians from the process of governance, ensuring that what belongs to particular groups of people were denied them, the active destruction of the advantages certain people possess just in order to exercise power without having any practical goals in mind began. It began too early, which is to say, by 1960, the idea of smashing the opposition, of ensuring that people do not overdream, had started in Nigeria. I mean, I always start by saying what went wrong began when Nigerians started sharing the loot of independence. And it was agreed by the ruling coalition that some regions would have to be excluded and some regions must take over as many jobs as possible. And then all the developmental directions were simply seized by the leading party. Once you did that, Nigeria simply became an environment in which the struggle for sharing was more important than the production of value.
You hear that? That the problem of Nigeria did not start yesterday. That is why we say that the problem is foundational. You can hear this man telling you that it started even before independence. They have started this plot of marginalizing a certain people, removing certain people, intimidation. The hatred is not today. That is when I see people who think that election will change the situation. They are mad. Mad people. A faulty foundation, there is nothing you can put on it that will stand. You have just had this man. That this thing you are seeing did not start yesterday. It started way before independence. Way before independence. And that is why the Biafran people will never be part of anything the zoo is doing. They can continue to push their lie, their propaganda. We will never, ever be part of it. Let them continue. We gave them all the opportunity to make things right, but they refuse to do it right. Now, let's hear from our eternal leader also, for you to hear another version from him.
You hesitate about using the term, but actually the Biafran problem was nothing except being genocidal. There was no distinction. The mere fact that you were an Easterner in those days labeled you fit only for one thing: death, and death at the hands of the Nigerian authorities. The Igbos and their associates were killed in practically every village in northern Nigeria. They were killed in many places in western Nigeria. They were in Lagos, even on Kaka Bridge, the very center of Lagos. People were looked at and they thought, oh, this looked an Igbo, and killed. The very first army officer killed in Lagos, actually, during that time was from Calabar, was killed on the bridge, and so on. Igbos were being hunted out and killed. The Igbos that remained in Lagos after the war began were herded together and killed without any trial or anything. No question of any legal rights. Till today, property of Igbos are still sequestered in various areas of Nigeria, and they have not been released, not all of them, to the Igbos, the original owners. But we're quite certain. In fact, the only reason it is not called or not accepted as genocidal is because of the Cold War. At that time, anything ethnic-based was almost like an insult to humanity. And ethnicity became a term of abuse in politics, that's all. If it were today, certainly, what happened in Nigeria is much, much worse than what you have seen of Rwanda, not to talk about Eastern Europe.
You just heard that. You just heard that. This is the account of our eternal leader, Dim Odubegwu. We are bringing you all these updates and information for you to know that Nigeria is not for you as a Biafran and will never be for you. Nigeria is a state that have failed. and we continue to fail. A failed state that will continue to fail. And all you have to do today is to continue to look for your own nation, Biafra. Only Biafra will set us free. Only Biafra remains the hope that we have. Only Biafra remains the hope, and there's nothing else. I want you to hear this.
Whoever says go away, I don't think they realize the going away is not that you carve out the piece of land, take it out.
Pay attention to this very video and what this man is going to say. Pay attention. And look at the person standing beside that man. Who is that woman standing there? That woman standing there is supposedly a woman that is supposed to be the wife of our eternal leader, Dim Odumegoju, standing behind that man. And now you're going to see the nonsense this man is going to vomit. Whatever we are looking for, we know why we are asking for Biafra. It is not a mistake, it's not by chance. We have thought about it left, right, and center. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have studied it time and time again. For years, 10 good years before ever he made the move. Mazi Simon Ekpa studied it. Right, left, and center before he made it. And we, all of us, have studied it and we have made up our mind. So our request we are asking for self-determination is not a mistake, it's not a joke. We're not just making try and luck. It is a lasting solution we are looking for.
And put it the other side of Ghana. The piece of land will be here, you will be here, everybody will be. Whoever says we want to go away, I don't think they realize the going away is not that you carve out the piece of land,
we know what it
and
means.
Put it the other side of Ghana. The piece of land will be here, you will be here, everybody will be here. I was born in Nigeria, I was groomed in Nigeria, and I believe in Nigeria. People of my generation believe in Nigeria. We have no doubt about the fact that we have no option but Nigeria.
Because of your fraud.
However, I think a few of my colleagues believe that there's no such thing as the unity of Nigeria is not negotiable. Of course it is negotiable. Even the unity of a family is negotiable. Even the coexistence as a couple of a husband and wife is negotiable. The moment either party feels that this union is no longer bearable, that he or she would rather go his own way, you let them have the right to sit down, consider their condition, and after, and only after, very, very, very careful, rational examination of the pros and cons of going out of the marriage, that they take the decision which suits them best. It's not enough just to say, I don't feel comfortable where I am, so I'm going. Are you sure of where you are going?
You see these idiots. How many people need to die before they know that we are serious? How many lives do this bastard like this man need to see wasted before they will know how serious we are? We have been making this request for more than a decade. For more than a decade. People have studied, educated men and women, professors, engineers, people who are much more educated than he can ever be, have studied everything And we have continued to tell these people, we want to leave. Conduct a referendum. Let there be a peaceful exit. But they will never listen. This nonsensical message is preaching. How many people do they want to die before they will understand that we are making a very serious request? What else do these idiots want us to do before they will understand that Nigeria is not redeemable? It's not redeemable. Which language are we going to use to tell these idiots before they will understand that we are already out of the zoo? You can imagine the speech. He agreed that Nigeria is negotiable. He agreed that you cannot force somebody in a marriage. And now you are preaching that only when the person has blue. What the hell? It is the person that is concerned that knows why he wants to be out. How many years does it take a woman to conclude that she wants to leave a marriage before the husband will allow her to go? How many years? How many years will it take? Is it until how many lives do you want to be wasted before you understand that the Biafrans are serious? These are idiotic deception that they push as politicians that they are, living in the fraud called Nigeria. And when they speak, you think they have something upstairs. They have nothing upstairs.
Are you sure of the consequence of where you're going? Do you really feel that the grass is greener on the other side?
Just imagine.
If you do, but sit down with your partner in respect, in mutual respect, in love if possible, but without demonizing your husband or your wife, because you will remain always the ex so-so of the other person. But discuss quietly, in a dignified way, respectful way, so that even if you separate, in the future, you can interrelate with love and with respect. When whoever says, we want to go away, I don't think they realize the going away is not that you carve out a piece of land.
This man is an idiot. This man is an idiot. In 21st century, you don't interpret going away from Nigeria. We know what it means. We have seen countries break away. There are thousands and millions of examples of how countries break away. Who the hell is talking about taking land, moving land from one place to the other? And this is how they come to create their own narrative to waste people's time unnecessarily for you to think that maybe they have something to say. But when you look at their body languages, know that they don't have anything to say. They just want to calm the situation. That is why he is standing the Bianca at his back. Bianca is posing at his back to deceive you to believe that, oh, these Northerners want peace. They want you to coexist with them. They want things to be settled. They never want, these Fulanis don't want any peace with you. They don't want peace. They are seeking for opportunity to destroy you. This is what they call takia. Takia. You think that they blow you breeze and you think you are with them and they will swallow you. They are just looking for time to take over everywhere. You can imagine the kind of nonsense this man is speaking. Biafran agitation today has professionals in it, experts in it, people that are much more educated than you can ever be. And every human being in Nigeria knows that no country will break out of Nigeria and be worse than Nigeria. Never, ever. And yet, they bring the deception. And some people are paying attention to them.
Take it out and put it the other side of Ghana. The piece of land will be here, you will be here, everybody will be here. And we all want to prosper. And my appeal to everyone is, please let us be respectful of one another.
The only people that are not showing respect is you, the Fulani Janjaweeds, because if you respect us, you should honor our demand. Our simple demand. We don't want to be part of the Zoological Republic. We have checked the plus and minus. We have checked the advantage and disadvantage. We have looked right, left, and center. There's no way we can continue to be with you. There is no way. There is no way we can manage being with you. So the only people today that should be listening to this message is you. And if you fail to listen, we are going to leave the zone. And when we leave the zone, within a short space of time, Biafra will become a place for pilgrimage for you in the zone. There is no doubt. We have no doubt. There is no doubt. And I say it with all conviction that no country will break out of Nigeria and become worse than Nigeria. It is impossible. More especially Biafra. I appreciate everyone that paid attention to this program. I want you all to remember that we have only one alternative. We have only one solution. We have only one way for us to get what we want. And we must continue to pursue it. My fellow Biafrans, our Prime Minister Simon Ekpa and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the Supreme Leader of IPOB, did not risk their life in vain. When you see this idiot speaking, you'll be wondering, does it mean that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not think very well before they go? That is why I say that man is the most idiotic man I have ever seen. Our Prime Minister Mazi Ekpa and our Supreme Leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not risk their life in vain. They saw the truth that Nigeria is a cage and Biafra is the key. That is why they put everything on the line, including their life. The breakup of Nigeria is not hatred. Why is it difficult for these idiots to understand? The breakup of Nigeria is not hatred. It is survival. It is justice. It is freedom. That is the only thing we're asking for. So I ask you, are you ready to stand for Biafra? My fellow Biafrans, are you ready to stand for survival, stand for justice, and stand for freedom? Are you ready? Are you ready to declare boldly that one Nigeria is a lie and Biafra is the truth? My fellow Biafrans, raise your voice wherever you are and declare with me, Biafra exit equals to peace. Biafra exit equals to freedom. Biafra exit equals to justice. Join me to declare it. Anywhere you go, write it down, make it a hashtag. Biafra exit equals to peace. Biafra exit equals to freedom. Biafra exit equals to justice. The time is now. History is watching. The spirit of our fallen heroes are watching. And the world will soon know Biafra is unstoppable. I appreciate everyone that has been with us on this program this evening. Thank you for joining. And I pray that Chukwu Okike will continue to guide and protect us and lead us until we get to our destination. Stay blessed. Have a wonderful weekend and see you again tomorrow evening.
Nigeria don't enter one chance, I swear, now go with the go so. Yes, men, they kill us every day, for them busy, they campaign again. After they failed all the promises they made, oh, them they praise themselves. Why the masses were supposed to give them the praises we they are they run to? Move it up. I blame it on the religious leaders. I blame it on the traditional rulers. People were supposed to fight for the people, they don't compromise. Shame on the rebellion People will cry with us during answers. Today them don't join those oppressors, the EJ love. Something on the smell of. Very soon now we go perceive. We have up where this government they cause my time bomb. It go soon explode. Revolution they come. It is very close at the film. When the power of the people we triumph, the power of the people in power. They no even care, they no even send. Say the people they die of hunger. Hungry dog is an angry dog. One day you go bite the owner. Idle man is the devil workshop. Many youths for Nigeria no good job. And the country the youths got no future. The country is gone, that's on period. Move it on. I blame it on the judiciary leaders. I blame it on the electoral officials. People were supposed to save the nation, but they collected bribe. Shame on the armed forces. People were supposed to protect the masses. But now them they